Right, welcome back to Squatters Wrongs. This week has been a busy boy, and it's all about. This is a big slideshow, man. I mean, like, it might go on way too long, and I'll have to change this into like 3 separate little mini episodes rather than one big confusing one, because this goes off on a tangent. It's really good, all the information very, very interesting and fun, but does it relate? Yeah, it does. It all relates, but it's a bit crazy, and I'll go off on some weird tangents and some like side quests, which are kind of fun. And it's just well, you know, this is just what I've done with my week essentially, and this is a presentation of my dog walk. It's much more than that, right? As you can see, the circled area. So here we have Spaghetti Junction, M6, all that. You're gonna know it again. Local history. So if you're watching this and you're not local, I'm not too sure why, but if you find it entertaining, thanks for staying. It is interesting and worth sticking around. And if you can travel to Spaghetti Junction, come down, park up in any of these areas really by this park, and have a walk around. It's all still pretty open, so you can see most of these bits that I'm going to mention. But generally, I'm going to be focusing first on just this area where I've been walking a lot recently, which is kind of like, this is the football sports ground of the Magnet Centre, which was like the social club / canteen / kind of everything to do with the GEC, which is the General Electric Company, which we will get to a bit further down the line. But yeah, a lot's changed over the last kind of 100 years. A lot's changed over the last kind of 50 years, and a hell of a lot's changed over the last kind of 20 years, 10 years. Everything's gone, changed. Spaghetti remains, but everything surrounding it pretty changeable. But not too confusing. We can still know where we are. It's all very easy, as like the amount of photos I've got for reference here. You're gonna know this area very well by the end of this video, which could be hopefully it's gonna be about an hour. But yeah, lots and lots of information to get through. So I've got some footage of down here. Right now it's just trees. There is like the brook of Brookvale does run down this area towards the River Tame. But right, a little picture going back to, well, so first of all, here's a fact for you. Spaghetti Junction, so they start building it in 1968. They complete it in 1972. This doesn't look particularly open because there's no cars. So I'm going to assume this is around 1970. Potentially, maybe it's even just like 1972 and it hasn't opened yet. I think it opened in May. I think May the 24th. For some reason, I remember that right now. But here's the area again. So for reference, there's where I'm looking at. And just here is this area, and it's exactly just off the same bit of slip road, so I've kept this pretty tight. But yeah, there's this area here which doesn't look like a field. It barely looks like a building, but I think it's a building. I think this bit here looks like a frontage of like a tent kind of front. I don't know. And then this, can't tell if it's kind of just a playing ground, just a bowls field potentially, or is that the roof of something? This little round thing here I've generally figured out is just a water tower. That's it. Here there's a little bridge area, and again where the brook runs, I'll show you all of this. All these fields are still there. There's some new housing here, but not much change really. This brook bit's still there, all overgrown now, as you'll see. Over here we have had some change. I don't know. Oh, behind me, bloody hell, let me get me out of the way. Just this blew my mind. I barely realized this was a thing. There's the power station on the area that is now Star City. Nechel's power station, I believe it was called. Here's the Aston Reservoir. This be Power League now. Litchfield Road, Old Tyburn and all that. And not much else to say. Right, I'm going to have to really bear in mind where my camera's parked, because I'm going to be right in the way of most of this, I reckon. I guess we should go back and just show you Star City. And now I'm in the way again. But there it is. Alright, so we've all got our bearings. Well done, everyone. I think I've made pretty good sense of all this, and it's all going to be really easy to follow, he says. Okay. Right, so there we go. Nothing much. I mean, you've got a bit of like the GEC down here, but we'll get there. And I mean, some of it's wiped out at this point. The changes had begun. Is this the same photo again? Yeah, a little further down. I've just circled the area where the brook tends to run. There's like a big deep area that runs towards spaghetti. I'll show you all. I've got it all. Just wait. Right, so this is interesting. Full of this kind of stuff, this presentation. But here is a 1939 aerial recce by the Germans. Them figuring out what they're going to be bombing around Birmingham. Obviously, haven't got Spaghetti Junction to worry about at this point. If that was there, Germans be destroying that pretty damn quick, I'd imagine. Right, but you can see in the whole area here, so there's Brookvale Park, as you can see. Here's all the GEC, and they've obviously the German Luftwaffe have marked that for destruction at some point, along with, I mean, is the power station actually there yet? Potentially. Oh, something behind. So there's Aston Reservoir there. These kind of works they were planning on bombing. But really interesting, and we can thank the Germans for this aerial photo. Doesn't teach me too much that I didn't know from our own Britain from above photos, but yeah, it's just interesting. Nice angle. And here is from Google Earth, not the Germans. This is just an aerial view of the Magnet Center area, with the Magnet Center building here, just at the top. And this will be where the War Memorial is, which I'll show you. Here's just Brookvale Park behind me. Let me move myself. Oh my God, that's the wrong one. This one? Not that one either. This one. Right, so there's Brookvale Park just behind me. And I'll put myself back. Right, so as far as getting from Brookvale, I'll put myself down here for a second. This is the bit where you could walk over, go into this kind of, there's the park, so you can walk over the road here, Park Road, straight over this kind of derelict bit of grass, and then you'll just keep following this path, you'll see it, follow the dog walkers. You get to here, there's a big dip into this area, which you'll see was all like dug out or something. I don't know what happened or why it's quite like this now. And then this to take it, and then that walks you straight down a hill onto these big grounds, and then yeah, we'll move on from there. Again, all of this didn't really change at all. This is the new build. This is Abbey Close and Monastery Drive and all that, and you can actually walk up there now. So really cool walk if you do want to do it. It's an interesting way to at least get to the shops. So come here, come over the park, jump over here, walk up here. Well, you could probably walk up there into this nice open area, which is kind of quite cool. Walk straight down there, across here, over the bridge, and which is just under these trees. Then come up here, and then head for this corner here. You'll see it. There's it looks like there's a car crash on a corner, and the fence is broken now, which has turned it into a walkway, which is nice. And someone's put a nice handrail there. So then you can walk up here, all the way down the new estate. Check out the really cool views of the brook from there. It's ridiculous. And then it just pops you out here, and you can go to the shop. So it's just a really long way of walking that bit, but I'd do it. It's much more interesting than just walking past that. Okay. Right, again, this must be post-72, but what you got here is, the water tower anyway, which is just here, right? I'll put me back up there. There they are. I'm going to be right in the way the whole time, a bit smarter. Okay. Right, so again, you've got the canal running. Here's Salford Circus, Salford Bridge, all looking very, very new, which is pretty sweet. They've changed the water here compared to how it did look, which doesn't matter too much. Anything else to note on this one? Not majorly. All of this cleared. We'll get to that. There's loads and loads of stuff here. Especially here, there was a lot of stuff there. So we'll move forward. Here is this, so yeah, much older, but the water tower still there. No spaghetti though, but there is a water tower. So maybe the water tower was put there ready for the spaghetti build. So there's the water tower again. Water tower is there. And the water tower is, oh my god, buried there. So it's always there. There's a pylon there we can use for reference. This chimney here, which is still there, we can use for reference. And the admin building of the GEC, which we'll get to, is here. And also this this whole train bridge is really good reference as well. And the obvious shape of the area, which you'll spot going forward. Oh, and here's the Magnet Centre grounds just here. So there's the Magnet Centre building, Magnet Centre big grounds, and then all that wasteland. And all this, which is all Brookvale and kind of Witton now. Well, Electric Avenue and all that? I don't know. Right, so we've seen this. And right, this is a current view of the Greek Orthodox Church. And community centre plus buffet centre venue. You can hire it. I don't know. Seems to be. They do a bit of everything, and it looks really popular, to be honest. And we've got a photo at the end of this. The amount of cars that are there on a Sunday seems to do quite well. So that's it now. Hasn't changed. Well, it hasn't changed from that state for a long time. That's kind of where it is now. Here's the War Memorial on the front, which is World War I Memorial with the nice wreath. Obviously, the plaque itself missing. Apparently, that went missing in 1994. I imagine Pikey's just weighing it in. Well, can't be too sure. There you go, 1914 to 18. I imagine these were the fallen soldiers. I imagine of the GEC. I don't know. I'm not too sure. So I can't read it on that. But there's a nice photo of it in situ. Clearly, I don't know what year that'd be. Where would you place that? Not too sure. But there you go. And there's another view of it. I believe this is around 1940s. So the plaque there. The chimney still... Well, it's always... Of course, it's there then. It's there now. Yeah, there's going to be plenty of reference points for you. But as you can see, quite a nice, beautiful building at the time. Not a lot surrounding it. Right, here's the grounds present view. You can see the M6 there. Is that the expressway or something? I'm not too sure. As you can see, and there's the bit that you can walk down. There's a little bridge there that crosses the brook, and that gets you to all the land behind, where I have been stumbling over just the remnants of masonry and brickwork buildings, whatever. There's some slabs, there's all kinds on that side, which give us some clues as to where everything was and how big. And some of it seems pretty sizable, which is what kind of got me interested in the area anyway. There's all kinds of weird, just sections of bricks still in the ground, and yeah, it's cool. And weirdly, there's just not many photos. I mean, if we go back, what else is in that area, even in these photos? So yeah, you've got this Bowls Green here, which I think is a Bowls Green, and has its own building here and here. I think I've found this one. I don't think I can find anything to do with that one. This has all been cleared during the build here, so it's pretty... There's not a lot going on there. It's proper trashed. It is trash. That's where the brook runs to. And then dips underneath. But yeah, it just runs to a dead end, which I'll show you. All of this is overgrown now. Overgrown. There's just nothing going on. This is overgrown. But you can still kind of tell what and where it is. I mean, if we go here, I think this is that Bowling Green area just here. So there is a building there, which I'll show you. Not a building, but there's the remnants of a building there. Here is where the other one should be. So I'll have a look there again soon. I've been there so many times this week. And now I'm going to be looking at these maps with you and find more things I need to see. But as far as I'm concerned, the general job is done. And if there's anything else you want to see, go down there yourself. It's all still there before they take it. Go and have a look. It's really cool. Right. I'm going to do a lot of jumping back and forward, but hopefully you've got enough time to look at this. If you do want a copy of the PowerPoint with all these pictures, just ask and I'll get them emailed over to you. Because they are nice. Okay, so we've got, yeah, the old trees have all started to fall apart now. It's all going a bit wrong for the trees. So they've been there a little while. This space here, now I don't know if this whole change in grass, I mean, this is obviously where people walk, but the distinct change in just how the ground is. Like, there's the football ground. Looks like it always was a football ground at least. But here looks like where that big building / just over flat bit of ground, but also has that tent frontage to it. I don't know. This looks like the area where that is. And yeah, there's nothing to find really. It's a really wet ground, so and it's been pulled up now and changed. So I'm not too sure if there'll be any remnants of that building if it ever was there. I'm not too sure. Here's the little walk bridge that gets you across the brook to this overgrown area, which is pretty cool. Let's put these up there. Doop doop doop. There's Pippin on the bridge, looking fine. Yeah, strap his doggy bags to him now, and he's got his own lead. He can sort himself out essentially. If he ever escapes, he's ready to go. He's all good. He's under that little walk bridge. Cool little bit of I think it's a concrete kind of. It's a big block. So it's off something fairly new, I believe, but it's just been dumped there, along with loads of other old bricks and stuff. Here's a little waterway that runs out the grass on the magnet side. Just stepping back. I'm on the same side now. I'm on the other side now. There you go. You can see the brook. All these trees. I don't know how much this ground level has changed over time, but it looks like this maybe either gets very wet sometimes and the water gets up here, or the ground used to be this high. I don't know. It's very weird because as you can see, it's all packed up and it's quite purpose made little bit of an area. This there's just stones and old bricks and slabs everywhere. All this old like waterproofing, whatever else, membrane sticking out. It's not too pretty. I believe these grounds are in the care of the whoever have taken it over with the Greek church place, but they don't seem to be doing too much. It could be much worse, because if the world went to shit, I'd run here and live there. It's fairly untouched now for the last 20 years or so. It looks like it's been the same. Right, circling that area again for reference. As you can see under here now is where there's going to be this little bridge bit that I'm going to show you that gets really wet. All this overgrown madness over here. So, and I think I'm about to show you the, well, at least the floor level bricks of this building here, which I have some pictures and videos of. Looks like there's another building here, which I can also show you the wall of, which is still there and massively overgrown now. There's something here. I'm not too sure what that is. Yeah, there's plenty to be looking at. So here's the walkway. Right. This is about here. Hang on. It's about here. Walking towards this. Probably this path here. Walking towards this bit. Right, so there's spaghetti. We're walking up that way. Pippin checking it out first. There's the dead end. Right to where the spaghetti site is. And from, if you take a right, if you get to this fence and do a right down there, that's the end of the brook that you can see where it kind of hits spaghetti. And there are some bricks here. I believe this kind of flows underneath and hits the Ray. I'm not too sure. The Tame and turns into the canal river thing. I'm not too sure. Little video of the area though. It's very shaky. This is my fancy camera and it hasn't got the well, it's not that fancy. It hasn't got that anti-shaky kind of image softening. What do they call it? I can't remember. But anyway, it hasn't got it. But here's a little video of that bit now. This is literally just after Christmas. I imagine all this was put in place when they were building spaghetti. So this is like a way to get the wagons over the brook and whatever else they needed doing at the time. I'm not sure if it's anything to do with the GEC. quite new looking. It's, you know, slammed down. It's the same kind of concrete as spaghetti. So I think this is part of the when they were building it. It's just been left behind. But it's yeah, very overgrown and neglected at the moment. So here's another cool photo for some reference. Again, this is so I imagine around 1940s. No spaghetti. Power station may be there. There's all your GEC area, which we'll get to. Is the canal. And here, because the GEC is connected to this place, it's their building, and it's like they build these things and these roads all linked up at the time. This is all under spaghetti now, but all of this linked up to get to the magnet centre, and then you could drive out to the George Road Gate, I believe they called this, and that was an entrance, which I can show you in a bit. This is all built on now. Here. So that's Monastery Drive and all this bit, which I don't know why they called it that name, because it's clearly not much of a monastery or an abbey or anything going on, but all the roads are named accordingly. So you've got Monastery Drive, there's like Abbey Close, Bishop's Close, there's all these... they all allude to the fact that maybe something was there before, but yeah, as you can see, it's all kind of like farmy, maybe even allotmented land at the time. This is all still scrubland, all of it. This is the bit that you can still... So here's the corner of Brookvale Park. So if you cross the road on Park Road here, this is where you can walk over that scrubland and get to the hill, which you can then walk down onto the grounds, which I showed you at the start. And then you walk here to where that bridge is that I just showed you. And then under here is where the bridge is, which I just showed you. Not much of a bridge. Right, another view. You'll get used to this view, as you see, just the power station, all of it. This is the hub, really. And this whole area where spaghetti has been built was an area called Salford. And still is, but like I think a recognised area at the time. Salford. Ooh, that might be a bit. So, a little bit of reference for where this is going to be. So this is when you've come into here, into the main grounds of the Magnet Centre. This is like now. You walk across that bridge. And then directly... Oh no, if you go up the steps then, I think it would be getting you to this. I think it's this building that we can see in the next video. I think it's the edges of this building. Not too sure. But here you go. So that whole... I mean, Pippin being a very good boy. He's only very recently gone automatic and he's off the lead quite a bit now. It's pretty cool. And that's him waiting very patiently whilst Daddy-O wanted to look at this bush. So there it is, this whole wall. Yeah, this whole thing down here is a wall. As you can see, I'm going to kick it apart now and you'll see the remains of a wall. It's about kind of almost 3 foot tall. Fairly substantial. It goes all the way to the other end, which I'm going to say is at least kind of 15 meters. It's pretty big. Is it the back wall of an old kind of hall gym thing? Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm plugged in. Just didn't turn it on. The goodest boy. So, yeah, all wall. I hope this... I know it's shaky as hell. But you can see. And then I think I will have been commenting at the time on this raised area behind the wall. I mean, it's burial mound like, but I'm not saying this is a burial mound. I'm just saying how creative the topography is in the area. But this whole brook area is mad when you see it from the other end. There's huge drops. It's a mad little area. Lots of this kind of ivy stuff covering absolutely everything, which I don't think is an accident, because it's doing a great job of covering everything up. Yeah, there's the brook from that kind of view. So this is not far from the bridge, which you'll see now. There's the Walkie Bridge. Right, not many brickworks going on here. Yeah, if you go up those steps on your left, that's where you can see this the bowling green. Oh, and just here is kind of interesting because if you come across this bridge, there's a lot of like old wooden, where the posts used to be, just here on the right, you can see them. So I reckon this all looked much fancier before now, obviously. Again, I don't know if that walk bridge has anything to do with just the workers at the time, and it's all quite industrial. Whereas before, I reckon they were a bit more ornate and intricate and quite fancy. I don't know, but obviously you can let me know if you worked at GEC. Tell me what these buildings were, because I can't find anything about them. There's no. I've had a pretty substantial look at all this, and I can't find any pictures of like the kind of bowling green being used or any of the buildings there, or if there was a cricket scoreboard kind of building, anything like that. Let me know. I don't think there's anything untoward going on with these builds. I've got heavily invested in this whole GEC place now, and I think it's really cool. And I'm just quite happy to figure out exactly what was there and what we're kind of missing out on now, rather than if anything's being hidden from us. I just think the idea of the GEC, after kind of reading about it for this whole week, I think it was pretty cool by the sounds of it, and there doesn't seem to be too many people who complain about working there either. So this is their admin building. Now this is one building that I cannot find photos, footage, write-ups, anything on this particular bit being built. Now, this could be built very early on in the 20th century, so literally 1900, 1901. It could be the end of the 19th century it popped up. It's listed, so it's still there now, and this is the plumbing trade supplies. I think it's up for let now, so this is when they had it. And you can see how it just doesn't match anything in the area. Even the magnet centre itself, this whole Egyptian frontage kind of pylon thing, and all of this spire business going on. And I'll show you an old photo in a moment of what used to be all down here. But it's crazy to think that maybe this was there a lot longer than maybe anything else in the area. Same with the, I mean, it's still there, and it keeps being used as a frontage for warehouses. So it's just the front, the admin building. The interior of this is amazing. Everything, the exterior is amazing. I don't know. It just doesn't add up when you look at all the other buildings in the area. But again, it just seems like they got a lot done at the end of the 19th century. It all just went bam. And you'll see like the rise of this whole company in general and how it goes, I think up until 2005, but by 1996 they're killing it. Not so much, they're not killing it by 2005, but 96 it was all going pretty damn well. So here's a quick brief history of the General Electric Company, founded in 1886 in London. Headquarters is in Coventry, defunct in 99. I think this is when GEC, is it Markilo or something? We'll get to that. Basically they sell up and kind of join with another company near the end. This Marconi Communications, BAE, all this stuff gets involved near the end. We'll go through the founders. We've got Gustav Binzvanga, we've got Baron Hurst, or Hirsch, we'll go through all that. We've got a brother called Max Binzvanga, who's Binzvanga, who's also quite an interesting character, which we'll touch on later on. And this is just something to show you that as far as there's the Witton works, but as far as GEC goes, it was an absolute worldwide thing. This looks like just the England factories and places, but as you can see, they've got the conduit works in Witton, cable works in Southampton, switchgear works in Witton, carbon works Witton, Erith, Witton, Hammersmith, the Osram factory, art metal works in Birmingham. Loads of bits. It was a huge thing. Telephone works in Manchester, accessories in Southwark, glassworks in Leamington on Tyne, instrument works in Salford, and I think that's Salford, Manchester as well, you got to bear in mind, and then Magneto works in Coventry. So this is all the UK kind of stuff at the time. But I did find a map of like the GEC empire, and it's bloody massive. It's everywhere. It's everywhere the Commonwealth kind of is anyway, and beyond. So yeah, as much as it's kind of really important local history, just as a worldwide thing, the GEC is massive. And I think by the 70s, they're like one of the biggest, they are the biggest private employer in the country. I'm not sure in the world, but that at the time, that's how big this place is. Very important. And this is the kind of stuff that we've only really got Jaguar Land Rover left as far as you kind of where everyone goes to work and sees you through. You get your pension, and that's where all your friends are, and you go to a club like associated with that place, and you have cars from the place that you work. You know what I mean? That kind of work doesn't exist anymore, and obviously post-COVID, that will not exist anymore. And it's quite a shame because like you're getting your head around going back to work now, like properly when we hit normal again. It was a sad idea before, but now it's even sadder because like look at even how like work was presented to the people and how it was kind of a part of their lives. This just by the GEC being there, it makes things like Brookvale make so much more sense as far as how they were going to like do that park up for the people in the area. Obviously all the workers in the area. The whole area just seems to become their lives really. You don't go too far. You all go on a holiday together, coach trips and all that kind of stuff. There's sports clubs. The actual club where you can go looks like there's people retiring at 83 at the time. It's just another mindset compared to where we are now. But very interesting. Very interesting. So this is cool. This is 1951. And this is they're obviously doing a family day with the whole estate of the GEC, which is kind of cool. So we can see the Magnet Club here. And this is a George Road gate where you then come in, drive round. This is where Spaghetti is now. But this road's still there underneath Spaghetti. None of this here, but it's just saying this is where you can see where the batteries are made on the day. There's exhibitions in this building. There's special heavy working machinery on view here. There's an inspection display here. Plastics, shock testing, worth seeing. Magnetic hoist, photo, electric cars, electric. Oh, not too sure what that is. Electric something. What else have we got? Molding, whatever else. So this is like a family day, and you can just go and visit and see what's going on here. And the really cool bit is this: every tea will be served at points shown with a tea. Absolutely everywhere, get a tea. On this side, mate, go anywhere you want. There's tea, and that's the kind of nice kind of treatment of the people that you just don't get anymore. A hydration station. I just want tea. That's really cool. Right, so this is a right early view of that admin building. As you can see, there's just a bit more going on. I have got so many photos of this and comparisons and whatever else. I go really deep on this building. But as you can see for now, looks like there's a form of window there. I'm not too sure. This all windowed. Those metal doors wide open. Squares, I mean, it hasn't changed too much. The spire much bigger then. Not sure why, if they ever actually flew a flag or anything like that, or what it's for. So this is cool because you can see like on every single bit there's a really nice kind of engraved kind of plaster on the front there. Carvings, don't know, but they're not there now. They're completely gone. This building gone too. What are these charabancs? Kind of open roofed coaches. Read about them. I was reading a book the other day about charabancs. There's the Egyptian entrance again. All these windows in use and open. Very busy place. There's a closed one by the looks of it. I don't think these are smashed. I think these are all being used in the like the swingy old kind of iron framed windows. Right, and here's 1900. This goes back and forth. Hopefully it's just an interesting thing to watch. But here is the fields on the other side. I think this may be just on the general GEC side still when they were expanding. But 1901, and there's all the land that they're going to... the old order changeth, yielding place to new. The first of the large groups of works. There you go. So this is the start of Birmingham really up in the ante as far as their place in the world of electronics. And then this is it by 1951. The Witton group of works now ranks among the largest manufacturing centres of electrical equipment in the world. And yeah, it looks like they had their finger in many pies. God, you can see how the crazy the the layout is of the land. There, look how low this is, and this is really high. The train's jacked up really high here. Salford Bridge, I believe. So that'll be covering the canal. It's great. All of this pretty much gone now, essentially. There's your admin building there. There's the Brookvale Magnet at the back. All of these works all gone. I think this is W.H. Smith now, the warehouse. The chimney is still there. Deakin Road, all that. Yeah, man. Right. I'm not too sure how accurate this kind of draw-up is, but maybe. Because I saw another building when it was just 2. Yeah, a bit confused about this one. But this picture seems to say in 1902, you've got this building here, which is like General Electric. Not sure what they do. Engineering. Probably just says that. But yeah, 2 warehouses or just like long houses here. And they're saying it's these 2 here. So they expanded these outwards from then on. So these centre 2 are these centre 2. And they had this cool writing down the side. Pretty sweet. So this is so you can see how this expands. And that's how the admin building was before. So it's just got the 2 in the back. And then eventually this is Rambler buildings, and now it's one big warehouse, I think. I'm not too sure. I'll show you later. Anyway, so there you go. Right, so the Old Magnet Club. This is on Deakin Avenue. This is before the club now. And it sounds like these were turned into housing as well at the time. This Brian Mather, he's talking about my grandfather Harry lived in the house to the right, and later my father Frank lived in the same house, as indeed I did for a number of years, being born there. Oh, right. Right hand part of Magnet Club was 215 Deakin Avenue, later occupied by E.C. Ferris, who became the works engineer. All the houses were demolished several years ago. The buildings at the rear of these houses were the carbon works, also known as the soot works, as lamp, black and carbons for powerful lights such as searchlights were manufactured there. Well, there you go. So actually, I mean, there's the carbon works just here. So the houses must be just there. Right. Yeah, here we go. They're there. There's the houses. Carbon works. Looks like they, changed the roof in here again, but there you go. There's your housing. And Brookvale just down here. Yeah. All making sense, I hope. That's the reservoir. Cool. Another view here, so you can see just so much more was thrown up. Here's still the building here, the admin one, which is still there. There's your chimney. All this is gone. That's gone. That looks really cool as well. It's a shame. It looks like all this used to flood quite badly in this area. Quite useless bit of land, which, kind of the same for the Magnet kind of pleasure grounds, really. Very wet and clay kind of rubbish ground. So here is now. Is this the same view? Yeah, pretty much. So there's your admin building there in the old view, and I'm in the way of the new one. There you go. So there it is now. There's that one chimney that is left. Everything else completely gone. Right, all of this gone. So I think that's W.H. Smith here, whereas this used to have like a canal operating kind of factory on there, which I'll get to. Yeah, and so this is your whole GEC area, and that is all that remains. You can go and see these. They're still impressive. They're very cool. Right, this is a cool little view, actually. This is, so on Google Earth, I've parked the camera right behind the admin building, so you can see that's where the spire is. We're behind it on the roof, which isn't even straight. It's not even central, which is annoying. But I think with the theory of this admin building being there before anything else, and perhaps not even built for the GEC, but for other reasons, and then founded and kind of purposed for this area. I think if you look at the view surrounding this area, it is quite nice. You've got, obviously this would have been Aston Lower Grounds before, and all this would have been fields too, I imagine. So Aston Hall won't be too far out of the view. I think maybe like not as a stately home or a mansion or anything, but something along those lines. I think, or at least this area was earmarked and used for something quite fancy as far as this Salford area goes, which no longer exists. Maybe this was the Castle of Salford. Who knows? But I just think it's quite an interesting view and really puts town into a perspective. Because you'd never know that the villa ground was just there, you know, if you were stood on the ground. I find this really interesting. And that's it. I think now up for let, what's that? 117,710 square foot. Down as an industrial warehouse unit, modern high bay unit. There you go. You can see a bit of the, well, obviously all those designs gone here. The windows still look original, really. The kind of ones that look like they were smashed. I think they open at the top. This big Egyptian frontage, which is cool as hell. And actually found a mention of someone saying there was basements on this place. And then these basements would go underground. And then you could walk under the road to get to like the new builds at the time. So these side buildings, if I just get out of the way. The both edges of the admin building have these kind of sunken doors. This one's been filled in completely, which is a shame. Because I imagine that did used to go like down to enter the basement level, because that doesn't look tall enough to walk in anymore. So they've kind of blocked that one off by the looks of it. And the other side here looks like it still is a fire exit at least. But yeah, the whole fact that there's a floor underneath this, bear that in mind always. Everything's got an underground. If you go far enough back, anything during the 1800s, chances are they built that with some kind of underground unit connecting it to something else, like all in town, the Victoria Law Courts, all of that. Tunnels everywhere. Just like the Hockley, no, the Witton Brook or whatever, Aston Brook, all that just being part of the sewage system and underground now. Like there's just a lot of underground systems at the time. So here we go. Oh yeah, someone's saying from the basement in admin was a tunnel under the road to the switch works opposite. This was very popular with courting couples. There you go. Also saying, what, the ground floor on the left-hand side is a wages office. At the main entrance was a marble hall over a revolving door. Just inside, a commissionaire waited to greet visiting VIPs. There you go. Does anyone remember the mosaic on the stairwell? I don't think I found the stairwell. I found a lot of this oak work mentioned here. Not too much heavy brass in the ones I found, but again, all this kind of fanciness was mentioned many times through history, which I've managed to pull together. So here's a picture of the entrance hall. And it'll play on word of entrance, maybe. Brings you in. You're entranced in the building. Have a look around. It's impressive. This is, you know, for a place of work, it's impressive. But then so was everywhere else. If you look at anything during the 20th and early 20th, late 19th century, all your buildings like your orphanages and fire stations and everything like that, always built to such a high standard, way over the top for their intended use usually. But that maybe shows how much money there was at the time, or these buildings were built for other purposes and now they are repurposed and founded rather than built by us. This one is, I think this is, yeah, the boardroom on the first floor. Apparently, when people talk about this, they say it's beautiful. Obviously, I don't know if this is a bit of a later on photo where the table looks rubbish. This looks like it's kind of abandoned. Is this the urban explorers of the time? I'm not too sure, but this table looks ruined. I don't know if something's been leaking, if this has all been left behind. This carpet's dirty. So I'm going to say this is when it's not in use. These things on the roof, little kind of flying torches, will go in on this because this links to the designs that are outside on the Egyptian pylon frontage. And the fact that it's winged, and the fact that there's another pyramid kind of jewel inset there, and flames. These usually being pine cones usually. So yeah, we're going to go in on the designs here. So, oh, look, just like magic. Here's the top of the door, the big nice entrance going into the admin building, and on the top of that you've got the twin serpent and the scepter or the staff in the middle. Again, this looks like it may have had the fire on it too, just like this before. And this is also winged, which is a big thing in symbolism, which I'll go in on. But we will go in further on that. And obviously, there was something in this round bit that is no longer there, because there's some drill holes there. So what was removed? Well, I imagine the drill holes were like for something that was added on after the original thing was removed. But because there's like drilling is the thing of the day when this is built. Right, so here's a view of Salford Bridge looking across to Nechel's power station from this kind of side of the Canal River. And even then, this is 1968, and you can see all of this kind of building here is already at some point in history been repurposed from archways into windows again. This has been completely bricked up. It's been, I don't know why they do this when they just kind of carve the top off buildings, but what was this? Even in 1968, it's already been through 2 kind of resets there. And who can know what that was? I mean, obviously we could try and find out. I haven't found out exactly what that was yet, but I will try. As you can see, this is just really drives home the point of just how much changes over the years. Right, and here's just a really cool view of the canal and the river. All of this like being canalized, but as you can see, just like how they get the water up there, down there, it's impressive. And all of this is the old stuff. So this is 1700s-ish when all your canals are being built. They're getting a lot done. They're masters of their trade as far as brickwork goes, and digging all of this out and shifting land, and just everything involves stopping water whilst they do this. I haven't gone too much into how canals are made, but it blows my mind just imagining it. I mean, I look at the side of a train bloody tunnel and look at the bricks and just think, how and who? So we're going back to the staff kind of symbol on the top of the building. It is called a caduceus. And this is a wand usually held by Mercury's or Hermes. So this goes back to Greek or Roman heraldry. And obviously the magnet center now is in Greek hands. So I don't know if that's a coinkydink. I'm not too sure. But there you go. The caduceus is obviously incorrectly used by healthcare organizations, as you've seen, like St. John's Ambulance. If there's one snake on the staff, it's a completely different symbol. It's the rod of Asclepius. So don't worry about the rod of Asclepius too much. And I've got some photos of that later on. But this is the Cardaceus, 2 snakes for the Cardaceus, right? Right, and again, this is the front gates, and we have pyramids again, just like upstairs with the flaming scepter or whatever. The torch. So back into pyramids, which kind of ties in nicely with the all the Roman stuff. There's the Roman kind of fluted column bases by the looks of it. And here, I mean, what they call them, engaged lotus columns. Lotus being, you know, harking right back to Kundalini, I don't know, Japanese kind of history, peace gardens. I don't know what this has to do with Romans. But again, it's all there, and then being engaged and tied, and as a chain, alludes to the idea of connected power or anything like that. So this building seems like it was always going to be for power, and we'll go into why that is in a moment. A lot to do with the pyramids and the spire and all of this. This was really cool. It's a big read, but the point being, it says that I think this goes out of use. I'm not sure when this is written actually, but it's like this goes out of use as the admin offices by 1922. So here's a little write-up of what this guy sees at the time, and he also says that the first floor survives completely, and this is just like has something happened around this time where things have been damaged, and actually it's a miracle that some of these things have just survived in the area? Or have they found this again and they're just saying like what it's all about? They have a brief history of like who owned it last. I'm very confused. I don't see why you'd say it survives unless it's being sold and they're just saying it survived as in it hasn't been changed from its original use, which clearly can't have been industrial. I'm not too sure, but anyway, let's quickly run through this. The GEC admin block has survived because it is a grade 2 listed building. Just for the record, here's a description of the building and details on the Historic England website. So admin block to the former GEC works 1920 to 22 by Wallace Gilbert and Partners for the General Electric Company Limited. Reinforced concrete frame with rendered brick cladding and Portland stone entrance. Flat roof hidden behind parapets, asymmetrical U-shaped block with principal offices on the first floor of 3-story 17-bay battered facade. This facade with projecting single bay centerpiece and end pavilions with side wings set back but protruding behind these. A giant order divides the other windows and is repeated in the architraves of the end pavilions, all set under a massive cornice with a fluted frieze on high step plinth. The order itself comprises plain unmoulded pilasters and tasselled volutes. The attic story has moulded architraves and roundels in the corners, repeating those of the frieze. All windows small paned metal casements. The centrepiece is a richly Egyptian-styled pylon with engaged lotus columns, heavy fluted architraves, frieze, and pediment set with a writhing snake. So that circle had a writhing snake in it at the time. Right, inner architrave to bronzed and heavily decorated double doors with smaller inset pilasters under roundel motifs. At each end of this range are similar but simplified battered doors. Left hand wing of 5 bays, right hand wing of 8 bays are very simple. On either side, the first floor glazed links, which themselves continue the cornice and motifs of the main facade, connect the administrative building with earlier factories, which are not special architectural interest. Right, so there's earlier factories than this place that this links to, but this seems like one of the oldest bits. Okay. On either side, the first floor glazed links, which themselves continue to cornice and motifs of the main facade, connect to the admin building with earlier factories which are not of special architectural interest. Right. Interior, ground floor entrance hallway with fluted Egyptian columns, has moulded ceiling with segmental central oval dome and round light fittings. The segmental pattern of this ceiling is repeated in the oval sunray motif of the pattern terrazzo floors. 2 of the 4 entrance doors to either side are original. The small panelled inset glazing and top lights, 2 are of no interest, and the lift has been renewed. However, the staircase which wraps around this has some mouldings. The ground floor offices have moulded architrave surrounds and top lights to their doors. The first floor survives completely, with a full set of doors having their carefully designed Egyptian bronze door furniture. All the offices have battered architrave surrounds to the doors. Moulded picture rail with tasselled ends and cornices. Most spectacular is a reception room or boardroom. This is a 5 internal bays by 4 in extent, fully panelled with marquetry inlay, battered with rounded base and heavy cornice, and architraves repeating the pattern of the exterior. Even the keyholes are carefully battered. Fitted bookcases are an important element in the composition. Moulded plaster ceiling with circular centrepiece with fluted and torchère mouldings. Staircases at either end of the block with continuous steel balustrades. Wallace, Gilbert and Partners. Thomas Wallace were the most notable designers in building factories in the interwar period. The style of the building anticipates that of their famous Hoover building in 1935-5. So this is earlier than that. When was it built? I'm not too sure. I really can't find out. I'm trying, but this place, I want to see more photos of all this Egyptian stuff inside and the bronze doors and stuff. There isn't much I can find, unfortunately. So, going back to the Caduceus, the twin snakes scepter thing. This is it being held by Mercury in his right hand, not his left hand as it says in Wikipedia. But there it is there. So the serpents going around the winged staff. The god of commerce and financial gain, luck, trickery, merchants, thieves, travellers, eloquence, messages. So if this place was built in the idea of it being the start of a massive electronics company, then yeah, why not use this symbolism? But if not, this the symbolism also in conjunction with pyramids and Egyptian style architecture just takes me on a separate kind of path. But here does also just a little bit of information saying that Caduceus has roots in Mesopotamian origin, which is about 4000 BC as well, which is an interesting bit of information for you. And again, like goats and stuff too. A lot of symbology going on. Right, and here's the other staff with one snake, which you could ignore because it's nothing to do with this. And this is the one used by St. John's, and it symbolises kind of good health, whatever like that. Again, a lot of old symbology involved, and it's probably all dark as hell, along with the kind of laurel wreaths and whatever else that gets used. There's the World Health Organization there. Right, so going down the Egyptian route, combined with the twin snake thing and the pyramids on the door, and this place being for power and eventually being a very big player in electromagnets and generators and all this kind of stuff. I did find this photo, which was the Russian scientists have pioneered in the study of spin fields, which they say can travel at billions of times greater than the speed of light. The experimental investigation of new long-range accidents. Something similar to these spin fields has been documented using the Curlian photography on a pyramid replica. So here's something. I don't know this experiment, and we will go in on this, but this video will be way too long if I do. But I am going to do a separate video on this whole experiment. But it looks like there's the twin serpent energy coming out of the top of the pyramid. And if we go back to ancient Egypt and look at Giza and obviously take out the fact that historians have told us that these pyramids were tombs for pharaohs, but these were actually power stations, quite obviously, I think, in my mind anyway, and definitely a form of old technology that's just impossible to build now. And this is why, because obviously it used to have a capstone also, and the double helix kind of DNA looking power structure that happens as a result of whatever this was, apparently using a Tesla coil in 1979. That's what it looks like. So you've got your twin serpent, you've got your Egyptian bits, you've got the actual power in the company. So it's kind of like, what are they alluding to at the time? There's a big picture of the effect with the Tesla coil and pyramid energy. Spin energy? Spin fields. Very interesting. Right, and I just thought, Happy New Year, but the BBC did this to the Shard during the New Year fireworks things the other day. Which, you know, it's very Capstone-esque. Are they alluding to anything? What's all that about? It's one of the biggest buildings in the bloody country. Is there a reason for that? I don't know. Very weird show, that. I don't know what I thought about that. Anyway, so we're going to go back. If you go back to my video on the galley and pine cones and Christmas, you'll see this whole pine cone situation. And then if you combine this isn't on the same building, but it's got an empty circle also, which, you know, what used to be there, who knows. But this has a pine cone instead of a flame. The two snakes, the wings, all the stuff. So definitely taking influence from somewhere. This is not by chance. This isn't just used because of family heraldry or anything like that. There's a reason for these things being on the building, and I think it could be important. Right, I wonder where... Right, I can't even remember what this slideshow's full of, so I'm just with you now. I'm just going to enjoy the ride with you and hopefully talk me rubbish over it. But here's a view now of Aston Reservoir looking over the Spaghetti Junction. You can see here is the chimney. Here's the admin building just here. Magnet Centre, blah, 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 blah. You know where you are. Right, the point here being, this is an old drawing from a postcard from 1926 from Salford Park. Salford Park being this area, I believe, at the time. It still is, I think, but I think they just call it Aston Reservoir. You can still fish there and ride your bike and whatever else. But so this is a view from there, and how I managed to pull this view together is she's clearly stood, or he, on this side of the lake reservoir, and there's this kind of area here that comes out like a pier. So that's still there, just here. So if I place the camera here, she's looking across the water at this building here, which looks very countrified, and these buildings here. Right. This is where it gets interesting and where history is already a case of Photoshop and nothing's changed now. Like, you can't really trust much things that you see on the internet now because of photoshopping and editing and everything else that you can do. Unfortunately, whilst drawing postcards back in the day, the same kind of edits can happen, and this place didn't look like this when they drew this. Apparently, even the guy says the lock and hinges factory can be seen in the background, although the artist has chosen to recreate a more rural scene of Copley Hill rather than include the terraces of Leamington and Bridge Roads. We're going to find Leamington Road. I haven't seen Bridge Road yet. This is the whole area of Salford that's gone with Spaghetti Junction. So, this is the lock and hinges factory, which is on the canal on the other side. So on our kind of Magnet Club side of the canal. So the view now would be this. So there's the houses on Copley Hill, just at the back there. His Spaghetti, obviously, this is where our friend would be taking the photo at the time, or the drawing, looking across here. So you can only assume that the hinges factory was here. All the buildings in that photo are white and country-esque and quite nice. These too, so we can assume that these look nothing like this as well, because that's what the hinges factory looked like. Right, it's not white at all. These are the terrace houses of Leamington Road, which aren't included in the drawing, but you can see that this is clearly the same building with the chimney, the back bit, the front bit, the chimney, and there's the back bit, the front bit. So it's all there. Copley Hill just behind. Which you can just see there, the houses. So they are white, but these are nothing like that. So to think that you might have thought this was there, you might never have thought that was there. So like the whole thing through history of buildings being built out of red brick originally, and then most of the newer builds will just be these buildings with a frontage on, a facade, whatever you want, a cladding, just cover it up, make it look new. But all of these buildings were much older than people would let on at the time. And maybe they obviously didn't want that picture to look too industrial. We're at the park. But that's the truth of the matter. It's all brickage. All gone now as well. And weirdly, that side of the canal is the bit you walk on now. You don't walk on this side, you walk on that side. And it's all changed purpose. It's very... Oh, no, this is further down. Oh, we'll walk down there, actually. Because, yeah, this is the Copley Hill side, not our end. But, yeah, it switches sides where you can walk when you go up towards these chimneys. But anyway... this is me making life a bit easier for you to show you where I believe this was situated. If I could just get me out of the way. Put me down here. Right, where I thought this was situated. You get your canal here, obviously the works over there, a pylon here. So, I believe it was here. This is where that building should have been, because there's the houses of Copley Hill. There's the water. There's the park from where that person's drawing the building. So it's like it's here somewhere. This is that area of Salford, Bridge Road, Leamington Road. It's quite a lot gone. And that's real history of people's lives, livelihoods, houses, everything. Just kind of buried underneath nothingness and trees now, which is fascinating to me. Will the future ever know? And that's why I wanted to pull this together. So hopefully, like, if people pull this together, but not too many people seem to like give that information out. Like, ask anyone about history, and no one seems to know too much. They just tell you the bit that they know. So hopefully, I've pulled enough together. Sorry if I've plagiarized things or taken photos without permission, but honestly, I just wanted this pulled together, and this is all for my reference, and I just wanted to show you guys really, and share the wealth, which I think is the way forward. So here's the hinges building, which used to be there. The power station at Nechel's just down there. There's a bridge. Could be Salford. Yeah, I think so. What else? That's not the Witton Bridge, is it? Could be the Witton, the old Witton Bridge. I'll show you in a minute anyway. But yeah, all of this gone. And, I mean, was this door for people to disembark their boats and come inside for a cuppa? All of these bits seem changed purpose. There's like kind of up and down, changed things as far as the walls go and the windows. But the general rule, very nice. This is the other side of it on Leamington Road, which doesn't exist anymore. But there's Leamington Road, the Victorian houses that once lived next to them, when we used to have nice bins. Again, these windows just open, not smashed, so all being used. All this lovely stuff at the back. What we got here? So a view of the Collins factory, Leamington Road. A lovely photograph. Oh my god! I'll move myself out of the way. Right. It's a lovely photograph that shows the front of one of the houses built around Salford Bridge and Gravelly Hill. These Victorian terrace houses line Leamington Road, Bridge Road and Woodlands Road. In the background, the trees hide the larger houses on Copley Hill. Within 2 years, this road, along with the surrounding community, would be changed forever. Right, we know what happens next. This isn't them being destroyed, but it is the GEC being destroyed. I'm not too sure when this is. It looks 90s-ish. It looks early 2000s. I'm not too sure. It could be 80s, to be honest. Bloody hell. Is that all the... I bet there's a lot of stuff that weren't good for you when they knocked that down. Whoa-wee. Right, so I've just tried to shade in the area that I believe comprises Salford. So I think this yellow area, it might even come out further. So this yellow area here, this being where that factory was. All this, so what, Leamington Road, Woodlands Road, Bridge Road, who knows where they were. But maybe Salford comprises of this too, because it's just untouched. So is this whole area, I don't know, is there old history there? Is there a monastery there from old Salford? Who knows? But yeah, this whole roundabout bit of kind of infrastructure work was a community at one point, which is so interesting. Another old photo from the Aston Reservoir side. Unfortunately, we have some damage to this photo, so we can't see everything we need to see. Shift me out of the way a little bit more. This building seems to disappear quite early on, straight away. I'm not sure what happened to that. Here's the admin building again. Chimney there. So this is where all Brookvale Magnet would be now, just here. There's all this land, like keep your eye on this pocket of land that seems to be dug out at one point. I'm not sure what they do with it all. But yeah, the whole layout of this area changes massively. What's that down here? I don't know. Pretty cool though. Some kind of shelter thing. Okay, probably in the way again. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to make myself smaller again. Okay. Ooh, back over here. Right, what we got? Looks like it's generally being built at this point. A lot of dirt. Again, massive change in the grounds here. What angle are we at? So there's the admin again. So here's the bit that gets dug out behind where, I mean, the club's down here. But this bit of land got raided for something. I'm not sure what they wanted out of that. Maybe just the clay. Is it for the buildings? Are they using it for roads down here? Potentially. I'm not too sure. I'm not sure what they did with that hole in the end, actually. So much housing, though. Is this all Electric Avenue and all that cool stuff over that side? So there's that big hole over here. And here's the Magnet Centre. And here's the football pitch. All dug down. Big holes happening now. Right, so here's some buildings that we should be able to spot. And I think this should be it's not a bowling green at this point. It looks like 2 homes. I'm not sure whose they are. The groundskeeper. Who's this? Is this a cricket house thing? I can't find anything to do with that. And that's it. So none of this has changed really since. This is all derelict still. Oh, we've seen this photo before anyway. Right. So now we're going to look at the change in the grounds a bit more modern. So we're talking the 70s and the end of the 60s when they threw up Spaghetti Junction. And forward, as you can see. So here's an old photo of it when it was just kind of built. This is around the 40s again by the looks of it. Again, it is a raised area next to it, but it's a standalone. There is this bit of building on this side also, just to the left, which you can see here, right? And now it's that high. It's bloody huge. And that's all, again, just the amount of brickwork just to make this bit of motorway happen. And I don't know if this motorway was technically the old Leamington Road or anything like that. I don't know if they used it and kind of carried it on, or if it's a complete reroute. I don't know. Photography's not great around this area, really. Right, so here's a little video of me and Pippin. So nowadays, I mean, if you look in this area up here on the left-hand side of the building, that's where this video is taking place, and we'll be looking over the grounds from underneath the Spaghetti Slip Road. Well, I guess the motorway. Here we are. It's very fallout free, but you can see the all the grass over there. Behind, there you go. I mean, I'm talking in the video, but I was chatting waffle, so I'm just going to talk over it again. Oh. So yeah, there's the wall. That behind that wall, technically, there should be the Magnet Club. This is all this area that's been built up. I don't know if they were saving on poster material here by putting all this ground in the way. But here's all underneath Spaghetti. Pippi doing a great job lately. He's been off lead all week. Just kind of, I keep taking him down this area because he can't go too far wrong. And he's a very good adventure dog. He just sticks around, man. And if you can't get to where you're going, he'll wait. It's all good. He'll just lick a leaf or something. Nice kid. So we're walking down this road that I'm kind of walking towards. Oh, actually, no. But yeah, this road I'm walking towards looks like it was pretty much the same road that used to run from the George Road gate and straight round to the GEC over a little bridge maybe. At the time. Such a lot of work. I'm sorry, it's so juddery. I think I'm just talking about how high these bloody things are. And I think I came to, I don't know, 50 foot-ish? Maybe a bit more. As you can see the size of it next to the magnet center down there. It's colossal. I can't imagine ever designing anything like this, let alone making it reality. It is impressive. Ugly as sin, but it's impressive. I don't know how to skip the video, so I'm just going to watch it with you. Because PowerPoint. I'm going to have a little struggle through the round fence now. Not sure what these concrete cubes are for. They were just blocking the road at the time. They're pretty cool. All of this perfectly accessible. Go and have a look yourself. Just drive straight into the Magnet Club and park up and just walk through. Go and have a look. It's really cool. Pippin gets it. Right, so there's all the grounds, football, whatever. The size of this thing. Dwarfed. And that used to be, I mean, the Magnet Club was a substantial thing in the area at the time, and now it's a footnote. Not quite as glorious as it used to be, but you know. Right, so this is cool. We're going to be heading over now. So this is me. I've walked through. This is where Spaghetti is, and then you can still walk. So this whole area here is where we were just looking, right? And then if you walk to here still and walk onto the canal, you can still see this chimney. It's like one of the only things left apart from the admin house. I got a little video of us walking down towards there. And more views, so... Looking here, there's your... God. I'm so unpredictable. Okay. I don't know what I'm saying. Hopefully I'll look at the damn bridge. Right, Witton Bridge. There, train bridge. Boom, boom. This walking bridge is a newer one from, like, very recently for an electric company. Just to have a quick walk over. This bridge looks much older. This is called the Witton Turnover Bridge. There you go. The local artists getting involved. Not for a while, luckily. Looks good. Big, noisy pylon there. It's pretty interesting. It's definitely not good for us. But there's the chimney. It's huge. And it's, yeah, man. You can go and see this now. It's very interesting. I did zero in on the design that's on the, like, the emblem that surrounds that top kind of yellow belt of bricks. And it's like a electric magnet with a coil going around it, which alludes back to the serpents on the admin building. But here you go. I don't know how much I zoomed. Such a good boy. Oh, it's raining. There. We will get there. Sorry, guys. Oh, the sun was out. It was a nice day. Okay. So there is friend the chimney. I don't know what this chimney was actually for or what building it was part of. Could have dug deeper on that one. But I've got some pictures of what it is and what it looked like before. I'm not sure if there was any that were built quite as nice as this one. It's so special. You look at some of these pictures I've found. It's crazy how much work must have gone into this chimney, let alone the rest of everything. It's very impressive. I'm going to skip it along a little bit now because I've got some really nice... Actually, we'll just get so you can see the base. This looks like the smoking area for the plumbing trade supplies place. There's two nice benches there now. There you go. So there it is. Right, I think I'll zoom in. There you go. There's your magnets. There's all them kind of curves at the top. Very nice brickwork. And not so nice brickwork. Right, and here's a little drawing. A watercolour kind of thing. Making a big point of those back in the day. Which is cool. Alright, and this is a picture of the bottom of it. This is from one of those urban explorers, which is cool as hell. Well, let's just get me out of the way. Alright. Dunk, dunk, dunk. So this is all blocked off, obviously, but there is the bottom of the chimney. I don't know if that goes right underground and then to where. Who knows? If you did work there, let me know, please. I would like to know. Very interested. Repurposed a couple of times, maybe. So you've got this original one, but then this not so original one. This whole bottom base bit looks extended. Different bricks. Who knows what it was all about? Maybe they just tidied the bottom up. But yeah, you can see clearly redone. And here's at the this urban explorer bloke went to the top. All this joined up for some reason with bands. Looks like that snapped a while ago. Obviously that was holding it all together. This brickwork, it's all bricks, which is awesome. I want it. So there's the electromagnet. Here's obviously the grounding strip now, I imagine. And it's just a skip area. It's such a shame. The amount of bricks that went into this, I imagine. Right, here, even more old kind of bits built in. Like little arches, really well done. Not sure what this was for before, but it looks blocked up. I can't be sure. And then right at the top, and there's what? Is there a 15 written on here for some reason? G5, don't know. But yeah, man. A lot of effort for a chimney. Just a chimney? Or something much more? I think more. And it's grade 2 listed, and, you know, what are the odds? And there's the logo being used. Did he use that kind of flat off area? Yeah, he did. Cool. There you go. So that's on the windows of what I believe is like a museum now. This is that showing up. So this guy reckons it was used between the 1890s and 20s, but I've found them being way past the 20s anyway, but 1890s. And then someone said about they had to change the logo because that chimney used to have the GEC logo, but then GEC America were using it, so they had to change or something, and then they used the magnet, which is later on. I don't know. But anyway, this magnet shows up, and this is where you can tell a decent bloody GEC product, probably made in Witton, but look out for the Witton Birmingham bits. There's bits knocking around. There's loads on eBay. It's pretty cool. So there's a nameplate. There's the electromagnet trademark. Here's a letter from 1937 from the head office. Oh no, just the Dublin office. And there's the trademark here. It's so cool. So they understood electromagnets and electricity is the main thing. And even here, the backing with the laurel wreaths and the flaming torch. Not too sure what it all means, but yeah, it's all there. It means a lot if you go back into the war. And again, like, here we go. HM Admiralty India Office, War Office, Overseas Railways, and this is all the General Electric Limited is included in bloody everything. It's a huge project. There you go again, on an old kind of fuse. Oh, these are cool. I'm going to buy all of these for my house. Light switches, outdoor light switches, industrial, with these kind of on. And if they get done up, they look great. Obviously, you just turn that, and then they kind of adapted an old ball switch kind of thing. And it just moves that on like an old cam or something. That's cool. Very cool. About 100 quid for that. £100. And they used to do fridges. This has been, yeah, skimmed down. I think they used to do like kind of a nice greeny, enamelly, duck blue paint sometimes. I'm not sure what they were doing. But they still go for good money. They all seem to still be working. This is a 1961 model. And then I was going to go down the whole of the history of just who owned it, ran it, bits like that. I might save that for another day. Oh, I could go on with it. Oh yeah, I may as well finish. Right, so this goes off on a little tangent now, but it's a good laugh. Right, so we're just looking at this guy. Do I start here? Yeah, man, let's get this guy out of the way. So this is Arnold Weinstock, who turns into the MD, I believe, of the General Electric Company in 1963. So he takes it over with his father-in-law, Law's Electric Company, Radio and Allied Industries. And in 1963, orchestrated a merger with the GEC, and then he became the largest shareholder. He served as a member of the board of directors from 61 to 63, managing director from 63 to 96, and then chairman emeritus. He transformed the firm, raising its turnover from 100 million in 1960 to 11 billion at his retirement in 96. That is a big jump. But then, I mean, this is a guy from son of working class Polish Jewish immigrants. Killing it, 11 billion. But then this Michael Purnell guy, I don't know. That's before Weinstock closed down UK manufacturing and imported white goods, for which he was awarded a knighthood. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but it wouldn't surprise me. Right, and we're going to go right back to the people who literally opened the whole idea up. And our first guy is Gustav Binzvanga, born in the 6th of September 1855 in Holland. Yeah, Osterberg, and then he died in Hampstead. Right, so this is our guy. Dies at 55. Got a really fancy house in London for quite a lot of his life. So his parents, Isaac and Mina. His brother, Max Binzvanga. We'll keep an eye on him. I've got a really good story about him in a moment. What do we got? Later changed his name to Gustav Bing. Founded the General Electric Company in London, England, together with Hugo Hirst, who was from Bavaria. He was born Hugo Hirsch. Right, so here we go. We got Hugo. This is from the Jewish Lives Project website. Hugo Hurst of GEC, an immigrant who fiercely defended English industry from the pressure of German industry, especially before World War One. He became Lord Hurst of Witton. 1889 saw the business possibilities of manufacturing electrical appliances with capital from his friends Max Binzvanga, Gustav Binzvanga. They founded the GEC. So obviously you got Gustav and his brother Max, for some reason, puts a bit of money into this. At that point, he's not mentioned too many times, but then he is mentioned a bit further on down the road, and we'll go down Max's little side quest in life, which is weird, I assume. Right, so Hugo, born in Munich, the son of a distiller. He came to England in 1880 to join a firm selling electrical goods. He was naturalised in 83 and changed his name to Hurst in 89. He was one of the founders of the GEC, becoming the managing director in 1900 and its chairman in 1910. GEC came to dominate the electrical appliance market in the UK, at one point owning 40 factories. Huge. Hurst never forgot what he owed to his workforce, and the company's staff relations were ahead of their time. Although he lived a comfortable life, enjoying golf, motoring and racing, Hurst took a keen interest in providing for the well-being and recreation of his staff. Hurst was a leading supporter of Joseph Chamberlain's plan for a tariff around the British Empire and treasurer of the Empire Industries Association. From 1936 to 37, he served as president of the Federation of British Industries, and he was given a baronetcy in 1925 and a peerage in 34. So yeah, man, this guy climbed. They all climbed. But it sounds like just look at all the history of all the people who work there. Look at people who tell the stories of working there fairly recently, and there's not many complaints about this place. And obviously they killed it. Worldwide company. So right, our boy Hugo, he dies in 1943. And after that, it starts to lose its direction. Profits began to fall in the face of competition and new products abroad. Although the firm was investing heavily in new technology such as nuclear power, they suffered from an internal conflict and were losing money in too many areas. In 1979, it was Britain's largest private employer. During the 80s, the growth continued as they formed a joint venture with Plessey and then Siemens. The companies were moving strongly into defense contracting, electricity generation and shipbuilding, as well as electronics. Wow. And this is kind of like they'll end up being the BAE, British... oh, God. The BAE systems, they become a part of it. It becomes a much bigger thing than... I think right at the start, he's kind of bringing in electronic products and selling them at a 5% markup, essentially. And then suddenly you've got all of this, then you're making everything under the sun, and then suddenly you've got your toes in defense and mobile, telecoms and just everything. If they stuck around, I guess they would have just been another kind of T-Mobile by now, or something like that. But it looks like BT didn't get them on board for this 21st century communications network idea that was happening. And that's where it all went wrong, which I think I'm about to read to you. But anyway, after the retirement of the now Lord Weinstock in 96, the company started to rationalise its wide range of companies in a series of sell-offs and mergers. In 99, it renamed itself Marconi Place and then went back to communications, internet and electronics. In a major setback, the company failed to even get a minor share of the huge British Telecom network upgrade contract. Right, so this is where they just lost their place in the food chain, essentially. If they didn't get that, that was that. The internet bubble burst in 2000, and by 2001 the company's share had dropped to an all-time low, and on Tuesday 2005 the company announced it had sold its business to Ericsson's, obviously the kind of phone manufacturer, telecoms people as well. They had a 27% share in the 2G, 3G and 4G infrastructure in 2018, which is the largest share for a non-Chinese company. So again, it went in the right direction, I guess. I don't know. Crazy. And a bit of a controversy here. So this Ericsson's now, on the 7th of December 2019, Ericsson agreed to pay more than $1.2 billion to settle a US criminal civil investigation into foreign corruption. US authorities accused the company of conducting a campaign of corruption between 2000 and 2016 across China, Indonesia, Vietnam, Kuwait and Djibouti. Well, there you go. During that time, they also managed to buy GEC. Well, Marconi. There you go. It's all in there. Right, Max being this guy. So this is his brother. Born in Ostenburg. Became a nationalised British subject. He was boarding at 10 Chasefield Road, Hampstead. And I think he's got 7 servants. Something ridiculous. There we go. Yeah. Married in 1891, and then in 1911 he's living in Kensington Gore, London. Electrical engineer and employer. His wife Ada Bing, and their 2 children, Doris and Edna. Married 19 years with 3 children. Also a visitor in the house at the time, and 7 servants. So fancy guys coming from nothing, coming from Europe and just nailing it. Apparently, there you go. And then in the end, 1915, Max goes into the Radium, and I have a little wonder what all this was about. But I think Max made a bad decision and invested his money in something really stupid. Because Radium Company, I can't find anything about the Radium Company, so I'm going to think it was more the Radior Company, technically, maybe. He's down in London again, and his Radior Company at the time. And this is a time where we thought putting radium in cosmetic products and food and condoms and everything was a good idea, even though it's radioactive. The idea being here that in 1898, Mary Curie and her husband Pierre discovered the element radium, and they got Nobel Prizes. But in 1934, Mary Curie dies from radiation exposure. And this is the first stop on radium's trial of death and destruction. Right. So, yeah, 1915 is where our guy goes into Radium Company. This is actually... Oh, I'm going to have to move me out of the way. It is a 1915 picture. Hang on. Oh, wrong guy. This way. I'll go down here. So I think it's Radior Company that he actually joined on. But this isn't the be-all and end-all. I'm just guessing. But it does seem to add up. It's the last thing he does. So, 1918 or 15, November 10th. Right, November 15, he's gone into that. So it exists at the right time. Radium became involved in the physical system of alpha, beta, and gamma rays, and in the atomic structure, in the chemical system of atomic weights, emanations, and transmutations, in the medical system of cancer treatment and radon spars, in the commercial system of luminous watches, women's cosmetics, and medical remedies, in the artistic system of luminous paintings, in the middle-class American culture, and in the industrial system of radium extraction, the production of luminous paint, and the beauty industry. So that's all the uses out of nowhere for where radium ended up being. And here, so like, just imagine, I mean, this is something that hits my mind quite regularly, especially nowadays because of the current situation. But these 2 ladies were just doing their job at the time, and they're selling you just what they've been told is good for you. So, like any Avon sales rep now who's giving you a new product that plumps the skin or makes you 10 years younger, you know the people. Same people at the time, they had no idea that they were actually pushing pure cancer onto people, these 2 ladies at Thorough Radio, at a trade show. An ever-flowing fountain of youth and beauty has at last been found in the energy rays of radium. When scientists discovered radium, they hardly dreamed that they had unearthed a revolutionary beauty secret. Now, they know it now. Radium rays vitalize and energize all living tissue. This energy has been turned into beauty's aid. Each and every Radior toilet requisite contains a definite quantity of actual radium. This is 1918. This is what the world does. How do we trust anyone? Full of idiots. Medical and other uses of radium. Medically, radium was usually injected or taken in pills. It was used to treat a wide range of ailments, including hair loss, impotence, atherosclerosis, high blood pressure, rheumatism, gout, sciatica, nephritis, and anemia. This led to a craze for radium-based products and radioactivity in general during the 90s and 20s. I mean, the 20s and 30s. In the it added to a wide range of commercial products, including wool for babies, water dispensers, chocolate, soda water, male supports, foundation garments, condoms, toothpaste, suppositories, cigarettes, cleaning products, boot polish, fertilizers, luminous paints, and cosmetics. All of these commercial applications had a common theme that the rays given off by radium had a vitalizing effect on the human body. And you trust what people tell you now? I wouldn't. Down the road, I mean, yeah, leave vaping on the side until the 2050 or something and see what happens. Realizing, and I won't go down that road. Anyway, realizing the water surrounding the mine. Oh, right, so this is when they start using cheap radium instead. Like, they start using radon, which is kind of like spent radium-ish. It's just rubbish. But they just having radium or radon in your product was enough to make money at the time then. It just went that way. Kind of like CBD now. Realising that water surrounding the mine could be radioactive, the town capitalised on the interest and use of radium in medical treatments and started promoting its water cures. The Radium Palace Hotel offered treatments using water pumped directly from the mines. Elsewhere in the city, you could buy radium soaps, radium cigars, and radium pastries. Other towns across Europe soon followed suit. In Bath, for example, you could drink radioactive water, find radium bread in a bakery, and bring home bottled mineral waters. Oh my god. So radium therapy was hailed as a medical wonder. Scientists experimented on themselves, demonstrating that if radium could burn or kill skin, it could destroy tumours. Burns from radium healed quite quick, so it made operations superfluous, eliminated tumours, and solved all sorts of dermatological problems. Could cure blindness, impotence, arthritis, depression, and insanity. A wife beater was said to have been cured of both cancer and violence. And in 1896, some breast cancer patients were being offered a course of 18 X-ray treatments. Unfortunately, neither the doctors nor their patients knew about the long-term effects of exposure to radium. Right, I think I got a picture of someone who's gone through way too many hand X-rays, trying to make themselves better. Actually, I think I deleted it because it was too dark. But here you go. Here's a ball of radium, or an egg. He's treating throat cancer, is he? A neck cancer or something, thyroid. Just nice and far away from the radium ball, and that's how they do it. That's how they did it at the time. And maybe it worked because like low levels of radiation apparently have good effects, positive effects on a human. But for too long or if overexposure, there's the problem. But they may have been onto something at the time. It's all about vibrations, as we know. Oh yeah, here we go. So here is the hand of Clarence Daly, Thomas Edison's assistant, who was covered in lesions after countless hours of intense X-ray radiation experiments. There you go. Bit horrible. And one more to just top it off in the end, just to leave Max Binzvanga away, but it looks like he got involved in this kind of stuff. So generally, glow-in-the-dark watches back in the day, from the 1920s and onwards, were using this radium stuff. So it would glow in the dark because it's radioactive. And then they were giving it to these women who would then paint it onto watch faces, and every so often they'd just lick the brush and carry on painting, and then eventually they all grew crazy tumours and died. And they were called the Radium Girls. I think there's like 6 of them that were famous anyway. And all these girls, they went to court in the end. And eventually, I think they got their case. But at the time, the companies tried to just tell the media that these girls just had syphilis and they were slags. Don't worry about it. But no, it's not about defamation. They are deformed now. So that's what happened with radium. So I think Max Binzvanga really cocked up by going down that route. And he should have stuck with GEC. But, you know, not sure what happened to him after that. And then just a little look at it the other day. This was like a Sunday, so it's still pretty packed. There's the Magnet Centre. Oh, the car park. This would be the kind of South Road gate. It was probably George Road gate. It was probably a bit further down, but this is the entrance from this side that we've looked at a few times. Oh, this is just the end of the GEC then, really. Yeah, 2005, the company failed to secure any part of BT's 21st Century Network. Marconi Group collapses 2005 and 6. Voluntary fold in 2006. The remainder of the GEC was called, well, of that Marconi's was called Telent, that's it. And there's a picture of it now. We have reached the end. I realise now that I have actually left out a couple of videos of me finding bricks and stuff on the floor out there. But to be honest, I'm quite happy letting it where it lies because it's pulled together quite nicely. I don't think it was too long, but thank you for sticking with me if you have. Yeah, man. That's a little history of GEC. And the Magnet Centre. And a bit of Brookvale Park there. A little bit of Salford history. Bit of everything. Just to give you a vague idea of where the hell we're sat now. And I wonder what all this thing is going to look like in another 50, 100 years. I bet it's going to be crazy. Thanks for joining me. I hope it was bearable, not too long. I haven't waffled too much. Wow, hour 39. It's a long one. I might chop it into 2 halves. We'll see. Anyway, thank you for joining me. This has been Squatters Wrongs. You've been so patient. And see you soon.